In 2026, we're likely to see the great American reindustrialization. Jerome Powell's term ends, and he's the guy who runs the U.S. Federal Reserve. And Donald Trump is on record saying that anybody who doesn't agree with him will never be head of the Fed. It seems like this guy, Kevin Hassett, or this guy, Kevin Warsh, are going to be Trump's new Fed chairman, one of those two guys. And whoever they are, they're going to lower interest rates. What does that mean? Reindustrialization means more factories, more machines, and all that stuff costs money. And lower interest rates means that the money's cheaper to borrow. Combine that with tax incentives for manufacturers that were passed under the One Big Beautiful Bill, and the stage is set for American reindustrialization. But this reindustrialization is going to be about advanced manufacturing, stuff like robots. If 2025 was the year of AI, 2026 will be the year of the robot. General purpose, they call them humanoid robots that can kind of fit into spaces and do jobs that a lot of humans used to do. But also the kinds of robots that we don't think about a lot, like industrial service robots, things that go in and do things like with a robotic arm. It'll also be good for industries that support things like this, like 3D printing, where you can print complex parts with metal for aerospace. Space is going to be another big business. And then healthcare, industrial. They call this additive manufacturing. The financial incentives for these companies to reindustrialize is huge. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the incentives for new investments in U.S. manufacturing include a 100% depreciation deduction. Now, I'll tell you what that means. It means that if you buy a new factory or production line, it's treated the same way as a regular business expense. You can just deduct it right away. But one thing that's kind of unique is a lot of this development is going to go into rural areas and some particular areas. But there's a lot of tax advantages to building in towns with fewer than 50,000 residents. You're going to see a lot of energy and discussion about the interior of the United States, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Mountain West, rural Texas. That's because these places are the perfect spot. We're going to see the Dakota nexus for energy and mining. This Dakota nexus, it's kind of this area right here. Because reindustrialization, it takes a lot of energy. And there's this company, Energy Transfer, that runs natural gas pipelines. Natural gas is important because if you have a natural gas generator the size of like a car, it can power a data center. And Energy Transfer is led by Kelsey Warren. Kelsey Warren is one of the biggest Trump donors. And Kelsey Warren has architected a lot of the American energy policy, especially around natural gas. And you can see that there's a bunch of these pipelines that go right around here. And this green area is important because there's a lot of federal land in that area. In 2026, we're likely to hear about these freedom cities. Donald Trump has been talking about these for a long time, but he's kept that card in his pocket. And I'll tell you why. But these freedom cities are likely to use federal land and convert it over into space that's optimized for reindustrialization, low regulation, preferable transportation stuff, because our leaders of industry, like Elon Musk at Tesla, are pushing Trump to develop a national strategy on things like robotics, so we can do all that in the United States. NVIDIA is all in on America's reindustrialization, because Trump is leading us out of an economy where we rely on low-wage, often illegal immigrant labor. But there's a reason that the Uniparty has allowed illegal immigration, and it's because it provides cheap labor, which is basically a subsidy for the U.S. economy. And if you remove that cheap labor, it's going to be hard on the economy. And Newt Gingrich, who Donald Trump loves, and all Republicans know that if the economy doesn't do well, then Republicans are not going to have a good time in the midterms. And Donald Trump definitely thinks about the economy a lot. And he and his team have been timing all this for Powell to leave the Fed, interest rates to go down, the announcement of freedom cities, and a boom in advanced manufacturing, all in time for the 2026 midterms.